Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where it's a bit earlier than I usually record the Animal Crossing episodes, but I want to record a lot of the other series episodes today, because, you know, I want to build up a bit of a backlog again, at least like a week or so. Which I'm basically there. I just need to record some unpacking episodes, but I also want to record the episodes because I don't know if unpacking is going to finish in the next episode or two, in which case I need to start on the next thumbnail art. I don't even know what series is actually coming after this, so I should probably check my notepad. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 12:01 PM on Sunday, August 6th, 2023. Hope you're all having a nice Sunday, relaxing Sunday, doing whatever you do. Of course, it being past 12 means we have just missed Daisy May, not that we really buy turnips anymore anyway. Okay, so let me see what my next series in line is. Okay, it's that series. I don't really know what that series is going to be like, to be honest. Which of these am I going to do next? That's a good question. I'm going to choose this one next. Yeah, okay, let's do this one next. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm choosing. But the next story game I'm choosing is a bit more of an atmospheric one rather than... Well, I think it's atmospheric. And the story, I don't know if it's necessarily as blatant. It's not like a visual novel like Beacon Pines is. I try to vary up the, alternate between story heavy and story, like lore... Not maybe not lore heavy, but atmosphere heavy. And then one after unpacking... Can be one of these two. I think I should choose a more puzzly focused game. I don't know why I only have two of them here. I would have thought I had more puzzle games. Yeah, I could do that one. That's an interesting option. Because that's not a game I've finished. But this one's pretty outdated. Is that going to be the game I play after Tunic? I guess so. I need to update this list. I'm going to update this list, I think, after I record this video. But, yeah. Because obviously I stopped recording for most of July for art fight stuff, and then I didn't really actually partake in art fight too much because I was actually quite busy. But yeah, so now I'm coming back to re-recording things and doing all that good stuff. I'm at the point where Beacon Pines, I'm like, the mystery is like really kicking into gear, and I'm like, I gotta see what happens next. I'm near the end of unpacking, so that's like coming to a wrap, which is like I'm kind of want to finish it off. And in Tunic, I've also hit like. I think I've hit like a big stride in this game as well, and not to give away spoilers, I suppose, but you could, if you know what's going on in the game, you could probably guesstimate what's going to happen in the next coming episodes from the current episodes. So I'm just like, I just want to play the games right now, but of course, pace yourself and that sort of thing. Listen and often, as my old French teacher used to say. But what should we talk about today? That's a good question. I mean, I talked about Barbie like yesterday. I don't know if it's like the movie, but I never actually really spoke about dolls or something. Have I ever talked about Sylvanian families? I think I must have. I have a vague familiarity with it because I didn't actually have many Barbie dolls when I was growing up. I think I had like one or two. I don't really remember. I don't know, because those dolls never really appealed to me. As I said, I kind of preferred like soft cuddly toys or plushies significantly more than I preferred dolls. But the exception is like I had like Sylvanian families and these little Hamtaro figurines, I suppose, growing up. So that was my dollhouse. It was the Hamtaro figurines, and it's actually crazy because I actually I think I spoke about this before. I actually collected all of them because there used to be a Toys R Us not too far away from me. It was, I think it was like the next town over or whatever. I think it's closed now, and then I think it reopened. I don't actually know if it's still there anymore. Because Toys R Us, it had its bankruptcy or something back in 2018? I don't know. Sorry, sip of water. But yeah, it went bankrupt quite a few years ago. And then it became unbankrupt again. I guess I don't know, some company bought it and saved it from its desolation, which is cool because, I mean, toy stores I think are fun, the sense of sort of wonder for a kid to be able to just walk down those aisles of toys and be like, whoa, there's just more and more and more toys. It's like there's non-stop toys everywhere, and that's fun, isn't it? The importance of play and entertainment, I suppose, in a child's life should not be understated. Allow kids to have fun and all that sort of thing. And I used to go to Toys R Us, not all the time. I didn't buy toys all the time, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest. A lot of times we just sort of perused, and then sometimes every once in a while, my parents would be like, all right, you can buy a toy here and whatever. certainly at the age where I used to do that. I used to play video games when I was a very young age. Like the first video game I remember playing is at a family friend's house. We used to play on a Nintendo 64. Excuse me, my throat is feeling a bit like today, but as it does most days, to be honest. But they had a Nintendo 64, and we used to play like Mario Kart 64. I was terrible. I'm like 3 or maybe younger at this age. I think. We played Mario Kart 64. I did not understand Mario Kart 64. Like, I understood the concept. I came like last every single time. The fact they had the patience for me, I suppose, because they were significantly older than me. My sister is a bit older than me. Not like extremely, but the family friends were like pretty extremely older than me. Not. I would guess they were somewhere 8 years older than me or something. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, the fact they I mean, it's kind of a thing where, like, in all family friend gatherings, like, all the kids play together. And then eventually, you know, some of them start becoming teenagers and young adults, and then it starts sort of, like, splintering off like that. Which, you know, I mean, I describe it in a sad way. I guess it's not necessarily a sad way. That's just kind of, like, growing up, isn't it? But yeah, we used to play, like, Mario Kart 64. I was terrible. I did not understand what was going on in Mario Kart 64. I think I used to play as Toad, is all I remember. Which is strange, because nowadays I'm very much a Yoshi and Birdo sort of person, but still. Yeah, I had no concept of basically what I was doing in Mario Kart, but we used to play a lot and had a lot of good fun times playing it. But we also used to play Pokemon Stadium. I don't know. I think it was Pokemon Stadium 1, although I'm not super sure off the top of my head, because I played a decent amount for some reason of both of them. But we used to play a lot of Pokemon Stadium. Not the battles, not that often at least. We used to mainly play the mini games because the mini games are fun. And for whatever reason, I think I've spoken about this before, I was really good at that drowsy mini game. It was like, you know, despite the fact I was 3 years old, I could actually, you know, win at that mini game like quite consistently, which is weird. Because I was terrible at like all the other ones. I remember the Kakuna and the Metapod hardening one. That was a really good one as well, which I was okay at, but wasn't very good. I was terrible at the sushi one because I did not understand what you had to do, so I just mashed the button. Sorry, the Licky Tongue sushi one. What other ones were there? There's a Magikarp jump one, which I think I was okay at that from my memory. I wasn't like amazing. The Diglett, the Ekans Diglett throwing one. I think I was also okay at that, but for some reason I just nailed the drowsy one, is all I remember. It was great. Now that might be my childhood memory, like warping it up. Maybe I just like won it once or did like incredibly well. I popped off one time and in my brain it's forever immortalized as I was amazing at the game, but still. I mean, if you've ever played with someone who's significantly younger than you, I mean, video games is a very good accessible thing, I think, for people younger than you. I know the stories about people are like, oh, you know, I'd always like give my younger sibling just like the controller not plugged in and then told them they were playing some random like HUD element on the screen or something, you know. But I mean, I don't blame you for doing that, you know. So speaking as a younger sibling myself, I'm pretty sure younger siblings can be quite annoying. But blood is thicker than water and all that stuff, which is, you know, ironic because it's like blood of a covenant thicker than water of a womb or something, isn't it? It's one of those like misquoted or misattributed definitions of idioms. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. It's nice that these games nowadays, I feel like, have these sort of like co-op-esque modes. Like I'm trying to think. Like Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, Nintendo obviously kind of like shines in this department. But like Super Mario Galaxy, I remember you could play Mario, but you could also play co-op mode, as someone else could also be like a cursor, which like collects bits, not only with a controller, but also like fires bits, and they can hold down enemies. I remember playing it. I remember playing Super Mario Galaxy was one time with my friend, because there was one level I absolutely hated. Actually, there's a few levels. It was mostly the Daredevil levels. I did not like playing with Daredevil levels, but I also wanted to beat the game, being the achievement-focused perfectionist that I am. So there's two levels I really dislike. One of them was the bomb level, the medieval castle one where you grab a booze by the tongue and swing around into the castle person. I don't remember what that one's called, but the other one is like, I think it was called like the Dreadnought Planet or whatever. It was, you're swimming around and there's basically this like skeletal shark chasing after you or whatever, which fires bullet bills at you, and you had to like ride the bullet bills and fire it back at him to defeat him. And I hated that level because I think it had a Daredevil variation of it as well. Daredevil just basically means you can only take one hit, otherwise you'll die. And I remember one time a family friend came around and was like, please, can you help me, like, beat this level? Because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I was scared of it, which is weird to say, because it's not, like, a particularly scary level. But thinking back in retrospect and knowing me as I know myself back then, I'm pretty sure I was scared of dying because I felt like a failure on my behalf, being like, oh, I can't beat this level. sort of like a, oh, I can't face the sting of thinking the level beat me or losing to the level or whatever. So, you know, instead I'm going to have someone else help me with it so I can beat it in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure not everyone's really like played games with someone younger than them or significantly younger than them. I mean, kids are still pretty smart. I think nowadays, especially, kids can get the concept of video games pretty quickly, you know, especially due to exposure. I mean, I grew up with video games, so I must imagine everyone who's younger than me, provided that they had access to video games, that is at least aware of video games, and maybe it's pretty common, I would say, nowadays compared to previously in the past for kids to grow up playing video games. Just like it's another media form that they can consume, you know, along with film, TV, etc., etc. And I think that's cool because video game is you know, I mean, why would I, you know, look down on more forms of entertainment? I suppose for people to interact and bond over. You know, this is fun, isn't it? it's kind of inherently what video games are about. But it's nice to see that when games have these sort of co-op modes, which, you know, I don't often play these sort of single-player games in co-op. I often play multiplayer games only as co-op. Other ones I just sort of play by myself, unless it's got like a co-op campaign, you know, like It Takes Two. But it's nice to see these sort of like younger sibling modes. I don't really know what to talk about, but you know, Super Mario Galaxy, you know, you got another bit cursor. Mario Odyssey, you know, you can have like your younger sibling players Cappy, and you can still basically do most things, and it like requires probably a bit more coordination or cooperation. Because I remember back in uni, that was when the Switch first came out, and that was when Mario Odyssey, I remember Mario Odyssey getting released. One of my friends, he was like a super big Mario 64 fan. Like he like speed ran Mario 64 as one of his favorite games to play. And when Mario Odyssey came out, he was super excited when he got the Switch. I remember I like went round to like his dorm where he like unpacked it, and then I just like watched him play Mario. Like it was Mario Odyssey or was it Breath of the Wild? I watched him play for ages. I don't remember. But then, like, sometimes we would hang out after that, and, you know, and he'd play some Mario Odyssey, and I'd play as, like, Cappy. When we'd hang out, like, in... I don't even remember what we did. Did we... I don't even know if we went drinking. I think we just, like, met up every now and then, which is like, whoa, you know, whoa, social event. Obviously, that's not how I meant it, but he would, like, play Mario Odyssey, and I played Cappy. I mean, it was just, like, it's amusing, like... what you can do as Cappy. You have a lot more power, I suppose, compared to Mario Galaxy, where you could kind of not really do anything. But with I remember I was basically just seeing how far I could like mess up his gameplay. Like if I could like launch him at the wrong time when he's trying to do a jump and just mess up his platforming. It was difficult. I mean, he was pretty good, I suppose, at the same time in Mario Odyssey, so it didn't actually mess him up too much, rather than it just sort of being a pesky nuisance. But it's quite funny, I think, looking back on it. But I don't know, maybe... is it that common nowadays for these games to have these sort of co-op modes? I can't really think of another game which has these sort of younger sibling modes. Obviously, it's not appropriate, I think, for every single game. I can't imagine, you know, playing someone like, I don't know, The Witcher or something, and then having your, like, 4-year-old younger sibling, you know, watching you is probably not appropriate. I would assume. I don't actually know. I haven't actually played a Witcher. Maybe Witcher is super family friendly. What do I know? But more of these games should definitely have this sort of younger sibling mode. You know, it feels sad to like have someone play along with an unplugged controller. I don't think it was ever done with me because I mean, I said before I have a sister, but I don't think she was. We sort of started playing video games together at the same time, I suppose. So it wasn't wasn't really a case of needing the unplugged controller. I was going to call it like a gambit. I think a gambit's perhaps a bit of a grandiose word for it, but you know what I mean. What missions do we even have? Okay, these are all quite annoying to do, so I'm not really going to do them. Maybe seashells I'll do, but we'll see. So yeah, I've never been subjected to, I suppose, to that gambit in the first place. Oh, you know what? We should find out crafter. That's what we should do. I forgot what I was going to say. More games should have this sort of like unplugged control. Oh, that's what I remember I was going to say. Because I do have some family friends who are younger than me. I think they're like 3 or 4 years younger than me. But I remember what a big thing we used to do when we played when we had like these family friend gatherings. It's not really like the proper way I would describe it, but when like family friends got together, we'd have these parties at people's house, and basically everyone had a Nintendo Wii, because Nintendo Wii is very much a sort of approachable console, which everyone got. I remember, like, I think I was the first one of a family friend circle to get a Nintendo Wii. Of course, I was always very on top of Nintendo games and that sort of thing, and I was super excited to get a Wii. I remember even talking to my friends, my primary school friends at the time, being like, should I get a DS or a Wii first? Because they both had both of them. And then they were like, oh, Wii's pretty fun to play with friends, but DS means that you bring the DS to our house and play together. And I was like, okay. And I remember I was going to get a Wii first, and then I got a DS first because of that. And it was true. We did play a lot of games together, to be fair, with DS, so they're not wrong. I don't remember where I was going with this, but I'm sure I had a point. Oh yeah, so we used to play like Nintendo Wii games together, and one of the games that we played all the time was Super Smash Bros. Brawl for a Nintendo Wii. I don't know why I said like I'm advertising it or something, but yeah, well, we used to play Smash Bros. And I remember one of the family friends was significantly younger, and I don't remember why we did this necessarily, but for one of the times we were doing, bear in mind, I'm like 10, probably, and I'm probably still in primary school at this age, so I don't think I wouldn't do it now. I would certainly say, but I think most people would be like, yeah, I've probably done something like that before. But we did that unplugged controller gambit on him, is all I remember, where it wasn't quite the same. We gave him a controller, but I don't remember why even we did this, because Super Smash Bros. Brawl, you can play with up to 8 players. So I think he was complaining about the fact that, because we always played on stock, which I'm going to tell you now, playing on stock is good if everyone is around an equal level. If everyone's on unequal level, play timed. Just play timed mode. I don't know why we always played a stock, but it's just something which just happened one day. That's why we always done. But that's my recommendation. If there's large skill discrepancies, play on time mode. It's not fun to watch other people play. Let everyone have a good time. It doesn't matter if that person who's really good will consistently win. It's just more fun that way. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying about this. What was I going to say about this? Oh yeah, but for whatever reason, we just made his character like a computer-controlled AI character instead, and then just gave him a controller, and it was just like, oh, you're this person. He always played as Ice Climbers, and I always used to play as Ice Climbers as well, actually, I remember now, but I think I always played at random during the family events. Family friends? Friend events. It wasn't family events. Family friend events is what I mean. He always played as Ice Climbers. I remember one time, and then like he eventually actually did catch on, because he wasn't that young. He wasn't like 3 or something. He was like 8, I think. So he eventually not figured out that he was a computer character, but he didn't understand that. He thought his controller was broken, because I remember he was being like, I'm trying to use my special, but it's not doing it. And then we were just like, oh, it's probably just like maybe your controller's broken or whatever. And I generally don't remember why I do that. It's the sort of thing where like part of me feels bad, but also part of me is like, he doesn't get, if I spoke to him now about that, he would probably be like, 1, I don't even remember that, and 2, I'm like, why did you, like, I don't care. Because that would be how my reaction would be if someone, some of my family friends, maybe that's why I was like, they revealed to me that's why you were so bad at Mario Kart 64, you were just a computer or whatever. I'd be like, oh, okay, fair enough, I was like 3 or something, so I still found it entertaining nonetheless. Anyway, that's the only time we did that from my memory. I think all the other times we let him play. But in retrospect, I don't know why we played on stock. Should have played on time mode. This entire episode is an absolute smorgasbord of conversational topics. I don't know what I'm going to... I guess we'll call it Unplugged Controller. Unplugged Controller Gambit. Anyway, to be fair, I don't remember doing that at any other time in my recent memory. But also, I am a younger sibling, and I was always the oldest in my friend group. So, I don't know. And now I'm significantly older than 3 years old, so there's not really much need for it in the first place. But I'm just saying, these co-op modes are nice. They're significantly better than I think our unplugged controller mode. Even though it does make the game easier, I suppose, in the capacity. These things are optional, although we know how a lot of people are not very good at following these optional directions, I suppose. It's a short little thing at the end of this video, like difficulties, like you should play on the difficulty that's comfortable for you. You don't have to play on like the dev recommended difficulty. I mean, you could try it, and if you're like too hard, bring it down. Too easy, bring it up. That's just how it should be. But people aren't always great at doing that, myself included. But anyway, I'm going to round this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. I hope we see each other again. But now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.